When you said before that you were down with racism, was it meant in earnest? Or were you just trying to win his confidence?
Well, now you've done it. Let's see if you can talk your way out of this one.
Relax, I was practicing the time-honored technique known as the lie. I was just trying to convey that I understood his grievances and wasn't judging him for having them. I don't really want to talk about it. Oh, the second one is such a terrible answer. Let's go with that.
So you don't find his views, say, unbefitting of a police officer?
Okay. Feels like this is going to be a discussion now.
It's not about me. As police officers, we gain nothing by staking out the moral high ground over him. Of course, but he's also not entirely responsible for them. I haven't been in this world for long. Already I'm a product of my environment. Maybe he's got a point. Oof. It's the worst option, so I'm gonna click it. Oh god. I hate that. Sorry, Kim. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Kim.
And what point would that be?
You're right. I didn't mean to cause trouble. Sorry about that. Well, actually...
Stop right there. I know what you're going to say. Don't. Also, these attitudes are quite common in Martinez, so I expect this to happen again and again. I've had this conversation enough times in my life. From now on, I'm going to stay out of it. How you choose to respond is your business. Now, let's get back to the task at hand.
I'm so sorry, Kim. At least I know that, you know, the person this game will ruin the most if you go, you know, in a bad direction is your own player character. So, Kim just has to get through this like week or so, and then he can be rid of us. Let's try this again.
This trash
okay, that
is
doesn't
locked.
actually open it. Okay.
The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags.
Well, okay. We do have a skill point, and one is about to open up again. So let's put that in there. I could just get the key, but I also kind of want to just break it open.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags.
Let's try it. Force time. Jam the tool under the lid and pull.
You stick the pry bar into the fissure beneath the lid and push down. It doesn't take much force. With a satisfying crack, the metal gives way. You can open the lid now.
There we go.
Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't. Of course you should. This is your time to shine, Hobocop. Dive into that dumpster for extra content.
Didn't I just have a premonition that there's something in there?
There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is still on the lid.
Let's open the lid.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Okay.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Look under the boxes of carton.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. And turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
Pick at the rags.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers.
Let's grab them then.
As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer.
The lieutenant produces a black plastic bag marked evidence from his pocket. Let's bag them.
Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but
He looks into the container.
the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye.
Let's reach for it.
A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
Let's bag it.
This is a military type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of ribbed-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. Just garbage.
That's all, I think.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Yeah, we need to ask the kids who put them there. You think someone from the Whirling might have been involved, maybe? Okay. Yeah, we have to ask the kids.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See?
You think someone from the Whirling might have been involved, maybe?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked, and this establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Okay.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container.
Let's search the food waste.
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see here. What's this?
What? Elbows out, there's nothing more here. What?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Let's pick it out.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
No, it can't be. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this
It
is.
Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there.
A miserable looking slip of paper sticks to the board.
If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash?
It must have been cramping my style. It has a foreboding quality to it. Maybe I needed to lose it for the great bloodletting to begin. I think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away. Someone from the Whirling threw it in the trash. I don't know, I'm boring. I'd rather not talk about it right now. Now, since we already have the superstar cop thing, internalizing, right now, and I did the sorry cop thing in the last playthrough, I'm gonna go for this this great bloodletting angle, because boring cop just doesn't really fit right now, and the other things are already somewhat done. So let's go for the great bloodletting.
What are you talking about?
I speaketh the tongue.
Doeth thou also thorough inventories? You should take stock of your notes. Make sure it's all there. Official notes contain informants' names. If some of it has fallen into the hands of the RCM's adversaries, bloodletting may well ensue.
Okay, I'll do that. Say nothing. I don't know, man. Sounds like an order. I don't take those. Let's go with the last one.
I see, yes. You are what we call a badass, aren't you?
He makes little quotation marks around the words, indicating he is unsure of its actual badassery.
Tell me, seeth your badass more in there, or are we done here? Ah, yes, and it would also be appropriate to start taking notes on the case. It's what cops do.
Dig in Hobocop style for extra content.
Wow, an Armistice caliber 50 knock cannon, half wrapped in paper tissues. So shiny.
What's a knock cannon?
It's a giant rifle, and it's very expensive. Not as expensive as that fat string of pearls snaking around the rotten banana peels, however. And is that Cordon Electric's preamp with Electra F2 tubes? It is. That catches quite a price. We're talking 12,000, easy. Unless you're into hi-fi yourself.
I am into hi-fi.
That's too bad, because none of those things are actually in there. There's just food waste and crisp wrappings.
A cruel jest. There must be something.
All you see is a broken mug with a racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron.
An antique?
Only in its social sensibility.
Well, let's take it then. The lieutenant briefly glances at the mug, then returns his sight to the trash. Let's close the lid.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
There we go.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Alright. Let's take a look at the thought.
Some kind of superstar. They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with barely legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say. To all this, you say, fuck off and die, in a cool voice. You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets. And you're the first one.
Okay, -1 logic. Price of self-delusion. Learning cap for visual calculus raised to 6. Learning cap for suggestion raised to 6. Learning cap for electrochemistry raised to 6. And learning cap for composure raised to 6. Okay, there we go. That's nice. All our thoughts are currently done. So we'll see when the next one comes along. Let's quickly click at those so we can get rid of them. I don't really like having the menus highlighted. Tools, let's take a look at those as well. Right, the Pyrolidon. +1 for our psyche stats and -1 health. 4 uses left. And the Interact, there's the Ledger and the Yellow Man mug. Let's take a look at this one first. This broken-eared mug somehow made its way into the Whirling in Rags dumpster. It depicts a person of Samaran descent frolicking in a field of saffron flowers, buck-toothed and grinning feeble-mindedly. It seems to be a cheap knockoff of some colonial era antique.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much.
There's quite a lot to read into here, actually. Look at all that content.
Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
This mug is an example of prejudice. I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do. I'm going to push this into the face of every merchant I find and tell them this is your inane ideology. The mug will be useful. By denouncing it, I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling, i.e. fraud and embezzlement. This mug doesn't belong in the trash. It's just a funny mug. Can't anyone laugh anymore? That's a horrible option, so let's take it.
Understood. You're that kind of detective. Why don't you get back to your case?
Ugh. And now, the damaged ledger. This is the ledger you found in the trash. It's full of notes written in a man's dense cursive. Have a closer look. Maybe it can be salvaged to start keeping notes on the case.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Anything else?
There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart.
Let's inspect the toilet paper.
It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
Let's leave it there, it's cool. Maybe it's kitchen tissue. They look exactly the same. Let's go with that first.
If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be kitchen tissue. It's not though. It's toilet paper.
Oh, perception smell is telling us that. Great. Let's leave it there, it's cool.
Cool toilet paper. I mean kitchen tissue.
Let's inspect the clip.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Run your fingers across the aluminium, or enough of the clip. Let's run our fingers across it.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before.
Lieutenant, is this one of the hologram watermarks you mentioned? Point to the sticker.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property.
Interesting. What kind of information?
It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
How can I read it?
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do.
Like, for example?
All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
That's all, thank you.
Okay.
He returns to his neatly kept notes.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand. It's a sorry sight.
Let's browse the white papers.
They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered with faint red lines forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
What is in there? What are they about?
Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you.
There was mention of a naming convention here?
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name.
Oh my, and they're written in capital letters too. I don't wanna. Back to the case files. Now let's read them.
Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
More?
Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. You like this grimy murdering, don't you? It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
Kim, my cases appear to employ some kind of naming convention.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
No, I mean a non-numeric one with titles.
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does.
Why is that?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
I seem to have named a case the Square Bullet Hole Murders.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out.
What happened to him?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Let's count the pages. I have to open an official case. Is there room?
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish.
Commit to paper using the pen Lena gave you.
The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple, a language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager.
Cross out the ones you've already done.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
Lieutenant, have you by any chance named our case?
No, actually. Any ideas?
The Hangman, the Furies are at home in the mirror, the Setting Sun, Shit on a Stick. Actually, I don't have one. The Setting Sun.
Okay, okay. It's a good name, but it has one problem. This case has nothing to do with the setting sun. At all. It has nothing to do with that, so... Something more concrete, perhaps? Do you have something concrete? Mundane, usual?
Usual is boring. We don't do that.
The Furies are at home in the mirror.
Furies? Yes, well, I don't know. I have to be honest, I'm not experiencing the internal strife that it refers to. And also,
He furrows his brow.
could you make it less poetic somehow? Just a normal case name, you know? Think, what would that be? A good normal name.
Shit on a Stick.
Ah, yes. I have to tell you, officer, I don't appreciate ironic titles. Other officers will have to use this as reference. If it's idiot or cockfinger, they're not going to get it. They're going to think an idiot and a cockfinger were on this case. So, do you have something less funny?
Fun is outlawed with this guy. What a knock!
I don't have another name.
Oh, well, then maybe I can suggest one.
No? Go ahead, let me guess the Hangman. Let me guess the Hangman.
Oh, that's actually what I was thinking. The Hanged Man. I like that. A good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
I'm done inspecting this. Close the case files.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
Oof. We can try the 28% check. I mean, we can always retry it once we unlock it again. So let's try it now, and if we get better, we retry
It's
it.
proving
Well,
to be harder than expected. You just don't have the intellectual rigor to patch the quilt back together. Try again later.
Oh, this says something different. That sometimes happens that a sound file is not matched correctly to the text file. It's not common, but some text files are kind of messed up in that way. It's possible, yes. Easy, no. You need to come up with a small archaeological system to reorder the remains of your past work. At the moment, all they do is fall apart in your hands. Some dates and the numeric titular system is all you have. Let's browse the yellow papers.
In the back, you see thin, translucent copier paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out.
What type of forms are there?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station calls. And the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of.
Misconduct fine?
A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields.
Station call?
These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing.
Field autopsy?
A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs, color of the irises, predation marks, condition of sexual organs.
Enough of these.
Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper.
Let's smell the leisure first.
The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner.
Well, let's look at the clipboard.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back, you see the embossed letters, RCM.
What did you say the color was?
Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it.
Let's shake the ledger.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment?
Let's peek inside.
The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center.
How would I open it?
With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip, screwed to the top of the board.
Interfacing, okay. 85, we can try that.
Is not what you end up doing. You squeeze the plastic to slide it open, but nothing happens. Then you bend it some, then crack it. The goddamn thing is stuck. A hot flash of rage comes over you. For a moment there, before it recedes, you feel as though you might just squeeze a tear of anger out of your duct. Makes you wonder, why? It's unjust, that's why. You can't even get to that thing anymore. The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess, suddenly afraid of you for some reason.
We'll have to get back to that later then. Okay. What else do we have here? Is that... Oh, that's another skill point. That was interfacing, I think. Should we just put 1 point in there? Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a look at that again. Oh, what's this?
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Bröther.
The what? Sounds like my stomach is growling. What is my lower intestine going on about? Let's go with the first one.
Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow.
Vows?
The vows are blood and flesh.
What is my lower intestine going on about?
Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
Okay, but what's the hard stuff?
Fascism, Bröther.
What is fascism, though? Okay, stomach, I've made up my mind about fascism. Proceed to the judgment. What is fascism, though?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems?
Oh, that sounds like a dog whistle. Let's go with that then.
Yes, them, but also women.
Women?
Women, men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen.
Oof.
That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place.
Am I having some kind of stomach seizure?
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
Why am I getting this?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
Fascism sounds so bad, though. What if we call it something else, like traditionalism?
Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking.
Okay, stomach, I've made up my mind about fascism. Proceed to the judgment.
You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Bröther.
I will keep my vows for the glory of the Revacholian nation, or Revacholian nation, I suppose. Absolutely not. I'm not going to be playing. I'm not going to be played by an upset stomach. Let's opt in then.
For the nation, smart. Best not to mention the woo men too often. That's why you're the head and I am the stomach.
No, fascism is about industry and politics and nationhood, not women. I'm absolutely okay with women. Pat your stomach. I'm just gonna have this guy be horrible in every way, and that includes sexism. So let's pat our stomach. I don't have a skill point to internalize it right now, because I have to unlock those. But that's probably the next thing we're gonna do. Okay. And after that, I'll be right back.